My 13-year-old niece's false essay accusation turned me into the family monster overnight. I was kicked out of my own house, dumped by the woman I planned to marry, and treated like I didn't deserve to live. But when the investigation finally exposed the truth, it didn't just prove my innocence. It revealed the real abuser in our family, the one they'd all known about and protected for years. I used to live on my parents' property with my fiancée, Clara. We had a small house on the backlot that I renovated myself. My family is close in that overbearing kind of way. Always in each other's business, always showing up uninvited, always expecting me to help with something because I was the reliable one. I didn't mind. It made me feel needed. My sister Selena, 36F, has a 13-year-old daughter named Megan. She's always been spoiled. Celine babies her a lot, says it's because she wants her to stay innocent. Her husband, Diego, was quite the kind of guy who never really talks, just nods along. I didn't know much about him and honestly I never cared to. I kept my distance. Anyway, around the time all this started, Celine began dropping Megan off at my place almost every weekend. Sometimes she said she had errands. Sometimes it was date night. Sometimes she just wanted Megan to spend time with family. I didn't think anything of it. I worked long hours and Clara liked having company. Megan would hang out, watch movies, play with our dog. She was a little clingy, but I figured it was just how she was raised. After a while, I started noticing she was acting off when Clara wasn't around. She'd follow me around, sit too close, and once even tried to grab my arm in this weird way while asking if I thought she was pretty. I shut it down right away. I told her that wasn't okay and that she needed to respect boundaries. She laughed it off. I told Selena about it that same night, thinking she should maybe talk to her daughter about it. Selena just said, "Oh, she's probably copying what she sees online. Don't make it a big deal." I didn't. That was my mistake. About a week later, I woke up to pounding on my front door at 6 o'clock in the morning. When I opened it, there were two police officers. Behind them were my parents, my sister, and Clara. My mom was crying, my dad looked enraged, and Selena was screaming at me to admit what I did. I had no idea what was happening until one of the officers said they were there to bring me in for questioning. Megan had told her mom that I had sat her while she was staying over. Everything after that felt like a blur. They took me in. I wasn't arrested that day, just questioned. I answered everything honestly. I told them she stayed in the guest room, that Clara was home the entire weekend, and that nothing inappropriate ever happened. I even told them about the weird comment she made because I wanted to be transparent. They told me I'd have to wait for further contact and that I shouldn't reach out to Megan or Selena. When I got back home, Clara was gone. She packed up and went to stay with her parents. My phone was full of texts from family members, cousins, aunts, even old friends, all asking if it was true. My dad sent one message: "Until this is sorted out, don't contact your mother." Within days, I was basically exiled. My boss called me into the office and said he had to suspend me for optics until the investigation was over. I worked in a small company. Word travels fast. People looked at me differently. My coworkers stopped talking to me. A few days later, my keycard stopped working. I wasn't officially fired, but I got the message. I tried reaching out to Clara again, but she wouldn't pick up. Her last text said she needed time to think. She didn't want to believe it, but she also couldn't ignore what a child said. For the next few weeks, I stayed in a cheap apartment I found online. It was all I could afford. I had to sell my car to cover legal fees. My parents refused to see me. The worst part was that I couldn't defend myself. My lawyer told me to stay silent and not post or talk to anyone about it until the case was closed. So, I sat alone every day while people I loved decided who I was based on a story that wasn't true. When the police finally called again, it wasn't to arrest me. It was to clarify Megan's statements. Apparently, some things didn't line up. Her timeline was off. The room she described didn't even match the layout of our house. She said it happened while Clara was gone, but Clara hadn't gone anywhere that weekend. Still, the case wasn't dropped. They said they needed to investigate fully. I tried not to get angry, but it ate at me. This wasn't some random accusation from a stranger. This was my own niece, my own family. Selena kept pushing it. She told everyone that even if there wasn't proof, Megan wouldn't lie. My dad told me, "You need to reflect on what you've done." My mom said, "Even if this turns out to be false," something made her say it. That one hurt the most. I started noticing how everyone tiptoed around the subject but treated me like I was already guilty. When I tried to remind them that there was no evidence, they'd say things like, "It's not about evidence. It's about trust." Trust. The same thing they all denied me. I don't know what's going to happen next. Clara still hasn't come back. I don't even know if she ever will. I can't blame her for being scared, but it's hard not to feel bitter when she just immediately believed I'd do something like this. Update 1. It's been around 3 months since I made my first post, and a lot has happened since then. I didn't think I'd come back with much to say, but things got worse before anything even slightly improved. The investigation was still ongoing when I got the official letter saying that I was not being charged, but that didn't clear my name publicly. My name was still tied to an open file, which meant anyone who looked me up would see the accusation attached to it. My lawyer said it would take time for that to change. In that time, Claire officially ended our engagement. She mailed the ring back to me in a small box with nothing else inside. No note, no explanation, not even a text. I guess that was her way of saying it was over. I haven't heard from her since. My parents sent a text too. It basically said they were praying for me and that they hoped I would seek help and forgiveness if what Megan said was true. They also added that they couldn't be in contact until the truth was revealed. That last part stung because they had already decided what they thought the truth was. Then there was the landlord situation. I had been renting a small apartment from an older guy who seemed friendly enough. A month into staying there, he came by and told me someone had slipped an anonymous letter into his mailbox warning that he was harboring a predator. He didn't kick me out, but it made things uncomfortable. I could tell he didn't want trouble, so I started looking for another place just to avoid more problems. The few friends I had left stopped answering calls. A couple of them unfollowed me on social media after Selena started posting vague "protect your kids" type of quotes online. She never mentioned me by name, but everyone knew who she was talking about. Through all this, my lawyer kept saying to stay quiet and let the process unfold. But that was easier said than done when every day felt like people were deciding who I was without even hearing me out. I didn't post or defend myself publicly because I didn't want to make things worse. A few weeks into it, Mr. H, the main investigator, called me in. He said it wasn't an official interview. He just wanted to clarify a few details. That's when he mentioned that Megan's account didn't line up with reality. For example, she described my house as having a hallway that doesn't exist. She said it happened in a spare room, but there's only one guest room and it's next to the kitchen, not down a hallway. She also said Clara wasn't home that weekend, but we had proof that Clara was there the entire time. Bank receipts, text logs, and even photos from that same night. Still, he said they couldn't dismiss it just on inconsistencies. Family cases take time, and when a minor is involved, every lead has to be checked out. I understood that, but it didn't make waiting any easier. During this time, I started noticing small things that made me think this wasn't just Megan being confused. It felt orchestrated. Celine kept posting about how hard it is being a protective mom. She even did a short interview with a local parenting group online where she talked about the nightmare of discovering a family betrayal. Again, no names, but the message was clear. What made things worse was how everyone just accepted her version of events. Nobody asked for proof. Nobody wanted to wait for results. It was all about who looked more believable. And apparently a crying mother automatically outweighed logic. I tried talking to Clara one last time. I left her a long message explaining everything I'd learned so far. She never responded. Her mom texted me once saying, "Please stop involving Clara. She's moved on." That was the last contact I had from that side. Update 2. It's been around 6 months since everything started, and I finally have something new to say that doesn't just sound like another rant. I'm still under investigation technically, but things have started to shift. I can actually feel it this time. The detective, Mr. H, called me in again a few weeks back. At first, I thought it was another routine questioning. Same stuff, same tone, same we're just following up on a few things. I walked in prepared for another session where I'd walk out frustrated and feeling like I was trapped in some nightmare. But this one was different. They didn't treat me like a suspect this time. They treated me like someone they wanted to listen to. The investigation had gone through every possible angle. My phone, my house, every inch of where I lived. Nothing. No DNA, no evidence, no signs of anything even remotely close to what Megan said happened. It wasn't just that they couldn't find proof. The physical timelines didn't even add up. On the day she said it happened, I wasn't home. My work logs and digital timestamps matched perfectly. The detective even mentioned that if anything, my case was starting to look more like a setup than a misunderstanding. I had been saying for months that it didn't make sense, that Megan was being told what to say, but nobody wanted to hear it from me. I guess it only became real once the people with badges said it. Apparently, Megan had been seeing a therapist since the accusation, court-ordered. The therapist had filed a report that something wasn't adding up. In one of the sessions, Megan said something like, "Mom told me what to say so he wouldn't get in trouble." That's what Mr. H told me. I didn't even know how to react to that sentence. It didn't make sense at first, so he wouldn't get in trouble. Who was he? Turns out they were already digging into that question. Mr. H didn't give me everything outright, but I could tell he wanted me to know where this was heading. Celine, my sister, had been under quiet observation. They found out that her husband, Diego, had an old record from another state. Nothing public because it had been sealed, but the charges were related to inappropriate contact with a minor. I had no idea about any of this. None. My parents didn't either, or at least that's what they told me. When I heard it, I just sat there. It was like my brain couldn't connect the dots fast enough. All the time Celine would drop Megan off without warning. The way she brushed off Megan's strange behavior toward me. The constant defensiveness when anyone questioned her parenting. Suddenly, everything clicked in a way I didn't want it to. It wasn't about me at all. The detective didn't confirm it directly, but from the way he said things, it was clear that Megan's story had been a diversion. Celine had coached her daughter to say something awful about me because Megan had started saying things that made it sound like something was happening at home and Selena needed to redirect that attention fast. I didn't even know how to feel. I thought that when the truth started to show, I'd feel vindicated, maybe even happy. Instead, it just made me angry because that meant my entire life had been destroyed to protect someone who actually deserved to be investigated. My parents didn't take it well when they found out what the detective suspected. My mom immediately said it was impossible that Selena would never lie about something like this. My dad said maybe Megan got confused. It was the same line they'd been saying for months. It doesn't make sense. But the difference was now they were the ones trying to deny reality, not me. The investigation turned quiet after that. They didn't want Selena to know yet that they were onto her. I was told to stay silent, to not reach out or say anything that could tip her off. So, I stayed quiet. I didn't post, didn't talk to anyone, just went to work when I could find something. Kept my head down and waited. Then last week, I heard they had subpoenaed her phone. That's when the full thing came crashing down. The detective called again and said they found messages, text exchanges between Selena and Megan, where Selena was literally telling her what to say, how to cry, what details to include. There was one part where she told Megan that people believe girls who are scared, and to make sure she said she was scared of me. That was the moment I realized there was no misunderstanding, no confusion. This was a full plan and I was the scapegoat. I can't describe what it felt like to hear that. You think when you get the truth, you'll feel relief. I didn't. I just felt hollow. My name might finally clear up, but what kind of family does that to their own? I kept calm, though. I didn't call her, didn't text, didn't even tell my parents what I planned to do. I told Mr. H to keep me updated, but to make sure everything stayed quiet. If Celine was willing to destroy my life to protect her husband, I wasn't going to give her a chance to spin this story again. I haven't heard from Clara since she left months ago. She probably still thinks I'm guilty, or maybe she's just too embarrassed to come back after walking out on me. Either way, it doesn't matter anymore. I've stopped waiting for people to believe me. The only thing I want now is for the truth to come out fully because I can't stand the idea that Megan was forced into this just to cover up for the real monster. And also because I was thrown in deep for this. And even though the damage is done, my reputation, my engagement, my family, I'm not letting it end with no charges filed. I told my lawyer, we're going all the way. If Selena wants to destroy lives to protect someone like that, she's going down with him. I don't even care what anyone in the family says anymore. They chose their side when they turned on me without proof. Now they're going to have to face what that loyalty really cost them. Update 3. It's been a few weeks since my last update, and after the therapist reported what Megan said about her mom making her lie, the police moved fast. Mr. H told me they needed to search my sister Selena's house because there were now serious suspicions about Diego, her husband. I wasn't told much after that. But a few days later, I got a call from my lawyer telling me to come in. That's when I found out they'd found actual evidence at Selene's house. Not just text messages or rumors, real physical evidence on Diego's computer. It was bad. I don't want to go into details, but it confirmed that something was happening to Megan all along. The timestamps matched the period where she started acting withdrawn and emotional. Selene tried to claim she didn't know, but they found deleted messages between her and Diego where she told him to handle it and not to let Megan talk too much at therapy. They also found out she'd been deleting photos and clearing browser history. Basically, she'd been covering for him and trying to redirect attention toward me to protect him. When that news broke, my phone started blowing up. My parents, Clara, even distant relatives, all of them suddenly wanted to talk to me. My dad called first, sobbing and saying he had no idea. My mom apologized over and over, but I didn't say much. I just listened. I didn't have anything to say that wouldn't come out as anger. Clara reached out too. She said she couldn't sleep after hearing the truth and that she regretted leaving me the way she did. She admitted she let fear control her and that she thought she was protecting herself. I told her I appreciated her saying that, but that we were done for good. Too much had happened and I couldn't just erase the months of humiliation and loneliness. The story spread through our community faster than I expected. The same local paper that had written about the ongoing case involving a local man and his niece now printed an article clearing my name. They didn't print an apology, but it didn't matter. The people who had already made up their minds about me weren't going to read it anyway. Megan was taken into custody by child services right after everything came out. Mr. H told me she's getting help and that she's been opening up more about what really happened. I don't know all the details, but apparently she broke down and told them she was sorry for what she said about me. Celine and Diego were both arrested. Diego for obvious reasons and Selena for obstruction and coaching a false statement. It hit my parents hard. They'd spent months defending her and calling me delusional. And now they had to face the fact that they protected the wrong person. There's no satisfaction in being proven right when the cost is this high. My name might be clear, but the damage is permanent. I lost my job, my relationship, most of my family, and the few friends who stuck around did so because they knew me before all this. The rest still keep their distance even now. I ended up filing a civil suit against Selena for defamation and emotional distress. My lawyer said it was an easy win since everything pointed to malicious intent. I didn't even do it for the money. I did it because there had to be some accountability. We settled before it went to trial. The amount was a good sum, which helped me get out of a financial hole, and in the end, I donated most of it to a foundation that helps people falsely accused of crimes. It felt like the right thing to do. I don't plan on ever seeing my parents or sister again. There's nothing to fix there. Too many lines were crossed. So, yeah. I guess that's the update. The truth is finally out. Diego's in jail. Selena's facing charges, and I'm officially cleared. I will be moving soon. Wish you all the best, helpful Redditors. Final update. It's been 3 years since everything came out. I didn't think I'd ever post here again, but I guess this is more for closure than anything else. After Diego's arrest and Selene's confession, the case was all over the local news. The charges against me were dropped officially, and my record was cleared. But clearing my name didn't mean much. Everyone who mattered already decided who I was long before the truth came out. My job was gone, my fiancé was gone, and my family was split to pieces. I didn't want to stay where people whispered every time I walked into a store. So, I left. I moved 2 states away, changed my number, and legally shortened my name. I rented a small place near the coast and started over. I didn't tell anyone where I went except for my lawyer and Mr. H. He was the only person from that nightmare who treated me like a human being. A few months after I moved, Selena and Diego's trial started. I didn't attend in person. My lawyer represented me since I was part of a defamation and obstruction case. The evidence they had against Diego was horrifying, things no one should ever have to see or hear about. It confirmed everything I had started to suspect, only worse. Selena had been covering for him for years, and the moment she thought Megan might talk, she panicked. Blaming me was the easiest way to divert attention, and it worked for a while. Selena ended up with several charges of obstruction, lying to investigators, and child endangerment. Diego was sentenced to decades in prison. Selena got less time because she cooperated toward the end, but from what I heard, even her own daughter refused to speak to her after everything. As for Megan, she was placed in therapy and eventually in a foster home that specialized in trauma recovery. I didn't know what happened to her after that, and to be honest, I didn't want to. For a long time, even hearing her name made me angry, not because she lied, but because of what it cost me. Then a few weeks ago, I got a letter. No return address at first, but when I opened it, I recognized her handwriting. She's 16 now. She said she was sorry. She wrote that she didn't understand what was happening when her mom told her what to say, only that she was scared. She said that when she finally told the truth to her therapist, everything started coming out. She also said something I didn't expect, that everyone in the family knew what Diego was like. They just pretended not to. Apparently, there had been whispers about him years before. My parents knew something wasn't right, but never wanted to cause problems. Selena had convinced them it was all rumors. When things with Megan started to get suspicious, instead of protecting her, they turned on me because I was the easiest person to sacrifice. That's the part that still sticks with me. It wasn't just Selena and Diego. It was all of them. They could have stopped it years before it got to me. My parents tried to reach out after the letter surfaced. They said they didn't know what to say to me anymore. My mom asked if we could put it behind us. My dad said they just want the family to heal. I told them I don't have a family anymore. I meant it. Clara tried to contact me too. She's remarried now and has a kid. She said she regrets how she handled things and wishes she had waited for proof. I didn't respond. There's no fixing what she did. She didn't just leave me. She made sure everyone else knew she believed I was guilty. When the truth came out, she didn't even apologize until it became public. I think she just wanted to clear her own conscience. I won't be posting again after this. I've said what needed to be said. My name was cleared on paper, but that doesn't undo the damage. Still, I'm alive and that's something.